Joining us once again is our correspondent, Barton Adams. He's also the founder of Homage Land TV.
You got it, Donna.
How are you?
I'm great, and I'm so glad to be here on the show.
I'm excited too because you've been bringing some really fantastic guests to the airwaves here. And who did you bring with us today?
Well, who we brought today, we're paying homage and shining a light on a great TV and radio personality, as well as producer and comedian, a serious but very funny guy.
There you go. And a big
Ray
round
Dejon.
of applause, a round of applause, a round of
Thank you,
applause.
guys. Thank you.
Hello and
coming
hello and
out.
hello.
Hi.
Good to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here, Long Island. I love Long Island.
I do too. Now, where did you grow up though?
Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
Born and raised, Park Slope. But Park Slope was different.
That's the fancy part now, right?
No, it's fancy now, but
Okay.
it wasn't fancy before.
Okay.
And I lived in Queens, and I always thought Long Island was paradise to me because I lived in the heart of Brooklyn. So I lived in a struggle. You know, I came up in a struggle family. So when I came out to Long Island and I saw that one of my friends had their own room, I was like, wow, you have your own room? Meanwhile, I have 4 brothers and all of us in one bedroom. So I always felt like Long Island was paradise until one time I found out that, somebody had a 16-bedroom apartment and they only paid $36 in rent because they had Section 8.
Oh.
And then I'm like, Long Island is like Brooklyn.
It's the same. It's the same, right? Yeah. I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and moved to Long Island some 20 years ago, I guess, now. But it's interesting. I'm really loving this whole, I don't know, I call it like the tri-state area, but there's so much to do, but Brooklyn really is known for a few things.
Yeah, and
right?
Brooklyn's on the come up.
Yeah.
So Brooklyn is like the new Manhattan. That's like kind of like the slogan, the catchphrase now, because they're building a lot of high-rise condos and the entertainment. The Barclays is downtown. It's like the Madison Square Garden of Brooklyn. And so it's truly on the come up. It used to be a place where people were discouraged to move to, but now it's the hottest thing on the real estate market.
Yeah.
I think it's like number 3 in the country right now.
Wow.
People trying to get to Brooklyn.
Wow.
Now speaking of the Barclays Center, you just performed.
I did.
This 2 days ago.
2 days ago on
at
Saturday.
the Barclays Center with a
Huge
huge lineup. Tell
Huge
us
platform.
how that was.
Huge platform. It was 15,500 people in the building.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
it's a gentleman from this TV show called Wild 'N Out. His name is Rick Michaels. He's
Yes.
one of the cast members, and he produced it and promoted it, and I co-supported it with him.
Great.
And there was comedians like Ray Davis, who's an actor, comedian. There is Tony Roberts. There's Michael Blackson, the African King of Comedy. Little Kim
funny
performed
guy.
on the show.
Okay.
So it wasn't just stand-up, it was also performances. And T.I., for the first time, made an appearance as a comedian.
Wow, I didn't know T.I. was stepping into that realm. How did it work out?
None of us really knew that until he got booed. But that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole other story.
It's
But it was a
hard.
great experience.
Good.
And it's something when you sit back and you write a joke and you say, I wonder if this is going to work. And then it translates into 15,500 people where everybody's focused on you. And you're like, wow, that joke worked.
Wow.
Is your heart still racing from that? You still
Yes,
feeling like
yes.
the joy of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've done thousands of shows, but I still get nervous before every show.
Okay.
And an old school comedian, Paul Mooney, rest in peace, told me.
I met him.
He was kind of like a mentor to me. He told me, he said, listen, Ray, the minute you don't feel nervous is when you need to stop doing comedy.
Wow.
Because you don't
Wait.
respect it. You feel like you've arrived,
You've
like there's no
arrived,
more
yeah.
room for you to grow. So I always took that to heart.
Wow. I met Paul Mooney one time, and I was at his show and met him because I was working in that with the part of the show, and he scared me because there were people talking when he was doing his comedy, and he turned around and I thought he was going to walk over and punch them out. He told them to be quiet. And so I know you from Video Music Box, you know. And that whole there we go.
Yay!
Branding.
So I was out of the loop for a while, and then all of a sudden I see, oh, there's Ray. Ray is into comedy, and I went to one of your shows, and I'm glad I sat in the back because, man, you ripped into some people in the front row. So, and some producers, they make a show and they just say hi, but you actually were part of your show, and that's what I really enjoyed. That you're part of your production.
Right.
So how did you become?
Well,
into comedy?
First thing I want to do is I want to acknowledge Ralph McDaniels, the owner of Video Music Box television show. video show that's been on the air 37 years and it's still on the air.
Blessings,
Great.
blessings,
So-
blessings.
He offered me this platform to be a video host where, you know, I developed my skills as an interviewer and I got to be in front of big crowds. Now, I always had this personality where I had a sense of humor. And by the way, I'm writing a book called My Sixth Sense is Humor. And maybe we could talk about that later.
Great.
But the humor part of me always stood out. Always stood out. I was a class clown.
So was I.
You know,
Were you voted class clown?
I was.
So was I.
Several times.
No, I'm not kidding. I was voted biggest ham, right? Class clown. Most optimistic, which is like, okay, now, you know, I'm hosting a TV show about living it up and stuff like that. But yeah, I was too. Did you you didn't know that, did you?
No,
I was
I did
voted
not
the
know
class
that.
clown.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
there
you know,
go.
not to understand that later on in my life, I would acknowledge my sense of humor as a big part of who I am, and and a big part of my number one coping mechanism is my sense of humor, which put me through domestic violence, substance abuse, incarceration, the whole nine. Hence the book. So so I saw that in me, and as a personality on Video Music Box, I was informative, but I was also funny. I had this personality. So being popular in New York City, I was able to promote events. And since I have a love for comedy, one time this guy said, "Hey, Ray, you want to help me promote this comedy show?" I'm like, "Sure." And I did it, and I hired this guy as a host named Talent, who's now known as the New York King of comedy.
Yes.
Hired him, and then one day he couldn't make it to one of the shows. And he said, "Ray, you got to host."
Wow.
Whoa.
So he put me in this driving seat as a stand-up host, and he gave me some pointers. And the rest is history.
Wow.
I
That
developed-
sounds familiar, Donna.
Yeah,
That's what she did for me.
Yeah.
Yes, and Barton, I said, okay, well, here you go. Here's an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's where success lies. Is like they always say that is where, you know, opportunity meets preparation, right? And then you're just boom, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
You know, so it's always like knowing. It's like kind of knowing yourself, like getting true with your own core. And then
Exactly.
when these opportunities come up, then you're able to say yes, and you just figure it out, as opposed to saying, "Oh no, I can't do that," or you know, that's not something I want. You just go in.
Yeah.
Yeah, when opportunity knocks you and the
I
door
don't-
opens, you got to walk through it.
I don't feel like I work because I love what I do so much. And my initial career was in human services. I was a substance abuse counselor, director of inpatient, outpatient services. And even in there, I was the funny guy. I would teach, but I would add humor to it, and whereby getting a good amount of, you know, attention from my clients. And so this thing kept like, you know, poking out at me. Until until I recognized it. I said, wow. Somebody came up to me, asked me for a business card when I was hosting a fundraiser, said, "Hey, would you host my event? You're really good at it." I'm like, wow. And it took for this person, for me to start believing that maybe this is something that I'm good at. And then I started to embrace it. And I began to grow and wanting to know the technical parts of stand-up and how to write a joke and, you know, reading your audience and connecting. And there's a lot that goes along with it. Like as a TV personality, connecting. You may not be able to see the people, but you're in a relationship with a big audience.
There you go.
Keeping that in mind. And so, and I learned that, and I continue to learn. I have a lot more room to grow. So I developed this brand called Laughaholics.
Yeah.
And the reason why I developed Laughaholics is because I was once an addict. And I was heavily into drugs. And once I got myself together and I became a substance abuse counselor and I got into comedy, now made it a career and then a business. I wanted to call it Laughaholics because you could become addicted to laughter. It's not going to cost you no money. It's not going to break up your family. What it will do is enhance your life, even if it's for a moment. So that's why I decided to call my brand Laughaholics. I wanted to separate myself from Ralph. I didn't want him to think that I'm stepping on his shoes by doing another video show. So he supported me wholeheartedly with what I was doing because it was in a different lane.
I love that.
Whereby being able to stay on his show and develop my own business on the side.
Wow. I've worked with children through many organizations throughout the years, and one of the messages I try to give them is what you just said, is growth. Because I was that victim of thinking that when you come out as a certain person, artist, business person, that if you're not successful right away, then you're not ever going to be successful. That was what I had in my mind. But I wanted to teach the children, because as you grow older, you realize, like you said, you look back and you see that you've grown to the position where you are by just being consistent and having that passion. You know? So that's why I'm glad you brought that up.
you know, when recognizing when the opportunity is there, take it.
Absolutely.
You know, take a risk, respond to the fear. You know, you're going to be afraid.
Right.
But just go out there. Like when I was preparing to go onto that show on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Wow. Breath,
They're getting ready to announce me. I'm on the side of the stage. They hand me the microphone. So all these lights.
Yeah.
And then you come out, and then everybody is focused on you.
Yeah.
I'm like, here it is. This is what I love. Like, let me help other people to laugh, and maybe it'll help them with a moment that they're going through something.
Right.
You never know. It's not a solution.
Yeah, but laughter really is the best medicine, you know. And if you can, you know, just find the humor or find the joy, even in the greatest challenges, that's really the secret to life.
Yes.
Right. And also writing ourselves a permission slip. I've talked about that before. Like, I, Donna Drake, give myself permission to thrive at whatever the at is. A lot of times we're our own biggest enemies, right? Because like you said, if success doesn't come as fast as we think it should, or if somebody else, you know, has a better whatever, and then we think, that's not for me, or I'm not going to be able to achieve that, or that person's got it easy because their mom and dad gave them that, or whatever, right? But once you get to that sweet spot of knowing that every day is a clean slate, every day is a new beginning, and you can write yourself permission in the, you know, taking one little baby step in the right direction can make all the difference in the world, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
And it seems to me like that's kind of what you did. You just said yes to yourself. You said,
yes.
I'm going to say yes to what's in my best interest.
And even if I don't become an Eddie Murphy, measurement is really, for me, is based on what I consider success. And I already feel like I'm successful. Anything else that comes is a bonus because I'm happy.
Yes.
Right.
I make decent money doing it. You know, I'm a thousandaire. I'm not a millionaire. So
I like that.
But you know, I put my kids through college because I tell jokes.
That's fantastic.
You know, my son is graduating. I'm going down there in May.
Where?
From St. Thomas University in Florida.
Congratulations.
So I look at those kinds of things. You know, these are all bonuses. Like,
Right.
You know, and it's amazing for me the journey that I've been on, especially with Video Music Box. So I got to interview people like Biggie Smalls. I'm in 4 documentaries because of that one interview with Biggie.
Wow.
I'm in his documentary. I'm in our documentary, The Showtime. I'm Bad Boy, Puffy's documentary. I've interviewed Tupac. I've interviewed Stevie Wonder. I've been in situations that a lot of people would not have experienced. And it gave me opportunity to learn about people and life. And then I find humor in it.
Right.
But not in a disrespectful way. I'm not one of those comedians that is disrespectful, and I make it up.
Right.
You know, I embellish. You know, it's not real. It's just, you know, you just take people on a journey and just get them to laugh. And for me, that's the answer for me.
Right.
You know, if I can make one person laugh, then I've accomplished, you know, my deed for the day. So I'm going to continue to do what I do.
Right.
And hopefully more opportunities will come.
Oh, they definitely will. Now, you had mentioned also you have a lot of footage from when you do your Laughaholics on what channel?
Okay, so I was on Amazon Prime. I have 32 episodes. It's called Laughaholics Live. It's my comedy show. Okay. I gave new comedians, some seasoned and some established comedians are on my show. So I have 32 hours of content.
Fantastic.
I just took it off of Amazon Prime. I'm now in negotiating deals with other networks to sell it.
Okay.
So yeah, I have that TV show, which comedians use it now as a credit.
Absolutely.
Isn't that the nicest thing too? Because some of the people now, some of the singers that are on like America's
Got Talent.
AGT and American Idol and all these other kind of things, I had them on like years ago when they were kids. Do you find joy in that? Like when you see somebody that you had do...
Oh, let me tell you. Okay,
and then
first of all, I'm glad you said that.
I love that feeling.
Kevin Hart.
Yes.
Yeah.
I used to pay Kevin.
Okay.
And I'm not lying.
Okay.
$25 to perform at my show.
Wow.
Kevin Hart, Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan one time came to one of my shows and bombed.
Wow.
And because I had this counselor thing about me,
yes,
I went outside, I spoke to him for an hour and a half. He was ready to throw the towel in. He didn't want to do comedy anymore. He's like, Ray, I'm not doing this no more. That shit, these guys don't respect comedy. He's from Brooklyn. So
Of course, yeah, I
this is
remember.
when I had my comedy rooms, they were called. Not comedy clubs. You take a restaurant or a bar and you transform it into a comedy club one day a week.
Yeah.
And so he performed there and he did really bad. And I'll never forget that night. And he never forgets it. Every time he sees, Ray, it wasn't for you. Mike Epps. JB Smooth.
JB Smooth.
Oh, yeah.
JB Smooth.
JB Smooth.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes, yes.
Okay, let me tell you a crazy moment real quick with JB Smooth.
course,
JB
please.
Smooth was doing a show with me in Brooklyn, New York, a gritty place,
Okay.
and a shootout occurred.
Oh, no, you can't
While
make that
JB
up, right?
Smooth was on the stage. These are the things that we went through on the grind. This is the
Everybody
stuff.
starts somewhere.
Yeah,
Right?
and
It's great.
JB, when he said, Ray, you remember that? I said, of course I remember that.
And that's why he has now Secret Service, right? No.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's like the face of the,
No,
he's
I know,
everywhere.
I know,
Gambling,
I know.
the
Yeah,
advertisement, he's
Yeah.
really.
I met him once at a fundraiser, and that's the other thing too, that a lot of times people will donate their time. They're so philanthropic because they know that they started somewhere, and now they just want to give back. So I met him at a fundraiser for children's diabetes, juvenile diabetes. And he's really kind of tall.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
tall.
everybody's talking
He's tall,
to me
yeah.
because I'm 5'1". I mean, like, there's not a lot of me, right? But I was like, hey, and he's like, hey, real personable, real kind, super
JB
fun.
Smooth is a really, really nice guy.
What's some of the other things? Because I know you can't pick a favorite. I know we were thinking
Yeah,
about that in the
yeah.
green
I
room,
don't
right?
like to ask people
yeah,
their
yeah. We're
favorite,
gonna ask you your
so
favorite
many
art, but
people.
like a couple of people that you found funny. Like me growing up, I thought that David Brenner was super funny. I always liked his work because his was kind of situational. Like he'd pick a headline out of the newspaper and he'd be able to like just make something funny out of things that weren't so funny.
I'll give you my top two.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Oh, you got him.
Bill Burr,
Okay.
Bill Burr,
Okay.
and Dave Chappelle.
Oh.
Bill Burr
Yeah.
and Dave Chappelle. Bill Burr came up with us. Bill Burr is rated number 3 in the world. He's a great, great stand-up comedian. He has a super podcast, millions and millions of followers. He is really, really good. And Dave Chappelle. I like Dave Chappelle because he's intellectual, he's funny, he's informative, he covers everything, he's not afraid of being canceled because this cancel culture thing, it really limits people's writing because they're afraid to write about certain things, whether it's political or a current event that's going on. They just kind of stay away from it now. Everybody writes in a safe manner.
Wow.
Chris Rock would be number 3 for me.
Okay.
Because again, he reaches a crossover.
Okay.
It's cool to be a comedian, but you want to try to reach everybody. You want to have different. You want Latinos, you want Caucasians, you want African Americans. You want to try to meet, find that medium where you can reach everybody. And I think that's what makes them superstars because they have the ability to do that. There's a lot of comedians coming up under me now. I'm like, listen, dude, you're too urban. As soon as you're funny here, but when you go to Arkansas, you're gonna bomb because it's not relative. You can't talk about the cultural things in Brooklyn because they don't understand the F train in Arkansas. There are no trains, so there are no Jamaicans in Arkansas. So you
Hey, wait a minute. I'm sure there's a Jamaican somewhere.
well, I'm
teasing.
I'm just saying.
I'm messing with
but
you.
there's parts of the country
now
where
on the TV watching.
it's
But there
parts
are
of
no hippos in Denmark. I don't know if you knew that. True fact. Okay.
so
No, I know what you're saying.
you got to write for everybody. You got to write for. You have to write for everyone. That's what makes you a superstar.
Right.
And I respect Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock for being on those levels. Right. When you see their audiences, when they do their specials, it's mixed. It's everybody.
Now, when you're writing your material, I know that there's like a little bit of a formula. It's called setup, punch.
It's called, topic, setup, punchline.
Okay, good.
What are you talking about?
Right.
How are you going to get to the punchline? New York writers, we write more, we get to the punchline quicker.
Okay.
Because New Yorkers are impatient.
In a New York minute. Ooh.
This was it, yes. New Yorkers are very hustle-bound people. They're moving all the time. So they want things quick. They want instant gratification. So you have to get right to, you got to cut out all the fat and get right to the punchline. Okay. So that's very important. When you live in other places that are slower, they're more patient. They wait for your punchline. Okay, come in. But New York, they don't want to wait. This is consequently, that's what happened to T.I. T.I.'s from the country. He wrote for the country. He didn't write for New York.
He didn't write for New York.
And they let him have it.
So it really is real from New York going to the South,
It's real.
being a little more patient. It's not just
the
a joke, it's
adjectives,
real.
Right? You're gonna tell a story about your goofy Aunt Mary. Just say she's goofy. You don't gotta say she was wearing a blue dress and that she did. She made cherry pie that morning. Take out all the extra fluff. Just boom.
Right.
Okay.
You could get to the same point by cutting out a lot of stuff and you still get the point.
Right.
That's the whole thing. Like even when you do the same thing, you got to be concise, got to get it, but you want people to get that message, and you don't want to take an hour, to explain it.
Yeah.
For me, I write about my life. Okay. I write about my substance abuse, my incarceration, my working in substance abuse, being an addict, my mom, my struggle family, welfare, this, that. My progression as a person. So when you speak about yourself, it is authentic and you're not copying other people's jokes.
There you go.
Very important, because joke thieves is a big thing.
Joke thieves,
yes,
God.
Big thing in the country.
Right. Well, you even saw the picture that we have from the Friars Club event that Milton Berle did. We love comedy. Like, my partner and I, we had started the Laugh Off competition here in Long Island, try to give a little love back, which then became the Long Island Comedy Festival. So we love comedy.
Yeah,
and great. I did do 7 minutes once. I did it.
You were telling me. Yeah.
I went to school. It's an art form. It's a lot of work.
It's an art
People
form.
think, they're just going to go up there and tell a joke. It's not just joke telling. Although Jackie Martling made a whole entire life of that, just his joke line and telling the one jokes. But it's conversation. It's comedy.
Right.
It's different. People have to understand it's an art.
It's an art.
Yeah.
But I picked up, when I got serious about it, I picked up a book on stand-up comedy. Okay. And the first thing that they tell you is you gotta know who you are.
Wow.
You gotta write from who you are. Now, you may watch a lot of comedians and you may see an animated guy. And you think you could do that, but you're not, that's not your personality. So you try to do animation and it looks stupid because it's not you. So it's not gonna come off real. But they have guys that, like Jim Carrey, he's naturally an animated individual. Right. So he could take a punchline and bring it to the next level because of his degree and his art form of animation. You gotta know who you are. Look at Seinfeld. Seinfeld is a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
His jokes are all content.
Right.
No fluff.
No.
That is true.
Everything is content.
Right.
So he hits you intellectually with comedy. Some people add the moving around, the music, the this, the that, and they try to enhance the joke doing it that way.
Yeah.
And then there's some, like Dave Chappelle is not animated. Dave Chappelle is all,
Yeah.
Yeah. He's all this. So it depends on who you are. So you write from your style and your character.
Okay.
I miss Robin Williams.
Oh, Robin, see, that's another guy that
there's something.
Yeah, he was really dope.
Something, yeah. I don't know. Like when you name somebody, like you were talking about personality, and that's what made me think about it. And in my head, I was picturing like Bob Nelson with Jazzy Jeff and some of his characters. And then when I was thinking about characters, that made me think of Robin Williams. And I've always enjoyed it. I saw a jacket that you have, right? It says Red Fox.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. I
saw
love that jacket. I love that jacket. I'm
that's
coming,
a classic.
Elizabeth. I'm coming,
Yeah.
Just great, classic, funny people.
Yes. And these guys like Red Fox, and they go way back when there was only a few stand-up comedians around.
Right.
And it was, it's interesting how far it's come.
Yeah.
But I respect the craft. I love it. I'm blessed to be able to make a living doing it, and I just want to keep pushing on. And I always got to go back to acknowledging Ralph McDaniels because he gave me my start in entertainment.
That's great.
And I was one out of 1 million people that were trying to get on that show, and it was so popular back then.
Oh yeah,
yes. It was really popular and kind of set me up for where I'm at today.
Now you did mention to me about a sound stage.
Yes. So
I just wanted to make sure you didn't go.
Finally, I figured it out during the pandemic.
Yes. And in conclusion, see, that's what we're saying. That was really good. You did a good
I figured it out.
Thank you, Donna.
That was good.
During the pandemic, a few people made me realize the value of what I've done over the years. And he said, Ray, you have done a lot in music and you've done a lot in comedy. You have set up a lot of artists, like I knew artists before they became celebrities, whether it's in old school hip hop or R&B music or in comedy. And so I have all these resources and all these connections. You should get your own venue, Ray. I'm like, yeah, but you know, it's gonna take $500,000-$700,000. I don't have that kind of disposable income. No, Ray, I'm a finance guy. I will set you up Zoom meetings. You're gonna do a pitch and people are gonna put money up for you. I was like, really? He set up Zooms.
Wow.
I raised $700,000 in 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
My venue.
Wait, give me your hand for a second. That's profound.
That's right.
That's
$700,000.
That's a major blessing.
Really.
Wow.
Yeah.
Equity only, no loans.
Wow.
So I didn't have to take out a loan. It's all investors. Chris Broussard from Fox Sports is one of my investors.
Oh,
so he set me up with these people, and they listened to me, and they did the research on me. He was like, dude, of course we'll put the money up.
Yeah.
Let's go. We know that you can do it. I'm not starting from scratch. As soon as I open, it's going to happen. It's going to be successful. So I wanted to do a comedy club soundstage.
Fun.
Since a good part of my life is music and a good part of my life is comedy. I want a professional venue, 200 seats, restaurant, soundstage, comedy club, cafe, bar.
Nice.
In Clinton Hill, Brooklyn, 1 block from the Brooklyn Navy Yard, which is a beautiful area.
Yes.
And I'll be open in about 9 weeks.
Excellent.
Whoa, I thought you said 9 months.
I'm already picturing my tushy in one of them seats. I don't know how I can start that.
I'm there.
I'm there. I'm there. I can't wait. I would love to celebrate that with you.
Yeah, congratulations. Congratulations.
I call it the last chapter of my life
Okay.
because I'm going to build it. I'm going to build the equity. I'm going to build the value, and I'm going to sell it in 10 years,
right.
keep 20%, and retire.
Wow.
That's my plan. So
Can I tell you something? Can I put a little kink in that? I'm just going to tell you it
Sure.
straight up. You're never going to retire. You know why?
I'm not going to retire. No, I'm always going to do shows.
Okay, I was going to say.
I'm never going to stop doing
I'm like,
that.
there's just no way.
No.
You'd be sitting there, I don't know, sitting on the sand.
I'm retiring from the hustle and bustle and the dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
Understood.
Okay,
You're going
yeah,
to just transition it into a different way.
Right.
Okay.
And when I get booked, I'm going.
Good.
I want to go still do my thing. You know, I'm always going to do that. I'm just talking about.
So some roots are going to be planted here for now,
yeah.
and then down the road.
Right.
Okay, there you go. Plus, you're too young because you're the same age as me. I'm like, I retire. This is good 40 years out for me. So this was fun. Did you have a good time?
I did,
Yeah.
100%.
Did you have
This
a
was
good
great.
time?
I had a great time, but I don't want to miss something that's really incredible because people are coming back out into the human form again.
Yes.
You are having a show that will be in Antigua.
Yes, it's a destination show. We do it every year. This is my 5th year as the producer and the host. And we're in Antigua, and we're featuring comedy and music. So
Great.
Major Hype, who is a pretty big comedian right now, West Indian comedian that's super big, he's going to be on the show along with some other local acts. Then we have Big Daddy Kane.
Okay.
He's on the show.
Okay.
Greg Nice from Nice and Smooth.
Yes.
I think they may be adding a few more, but
Okay.
we secured the entire resort, all inclusive. It's all
There we go.
ours.
That's what I'm talking
Everyone coming there is coming for the event. So we have theme parties, we have DJs, pool parties, excursions, comedy shows, and music.
Wow.
And we're taking everybody away, and no mask is a requirement. You can't have a mask on.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I don't know what the
Well, people probably have those masks that show their face.
Shoes, no shirt, no
Yeah,
mask.
no.
You know the
Like,
mask where they show your face?
All right, no shoes,
Well,
no
no,
shirts.
that's really nice. I mean, for people to get away, so it's going to be a nice, safe environment, right? And like nice, mature.
100%.
Yeah, I've been to Antigua.
All
It's a
inclusive.
beautiful,
So
beautiful
drinks
country.
are on me for everybody. I'm
Okay.
buying everybody drinks.
Nice.
Okay,
It's an
all
all-inclusive
inclusive.
I caught that.
We'll give you the tip, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's been a
Thank you.
pleasure, Ray.
It was really, really nice to have you
Thank you
here.
very much, guys.
Yeah.
Buy the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, it's called My Sixth Sense is Humor,
There you go.
and it's a story of my life.
We'll make sure it's on the screen
how
and
humor
your
saved my
website
life.
and everything. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Hey,
coming out.
if you're funny, if you think you're funny, if you think you can tell a joke, I don't know, but go to his website, take a look at where he's going to be performing and all the things that he's done. We believe in you, right? We believe
Absolutely.
in your dreams coming true. And if we can do it collectively, we know you can do it too. Thanks for watching.